All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. It's fight night, and Terence Crawford will be fighting Israel Madrimov for the WBA 154-pound title. In the lead-in, though, he runs into his main nemesis at the time, Jaron Boots Ennis. And he has something to say. And not only that, Brian McIntyre, the trainer of Terence Crawford, has something to say about Jaron Ennis. So we're going to talk about the fight coming up, which I thoroughly believe Terence Crawford is going to walk out victorious. And the next fight, which I thoroughly believe he's being set up to take, as Jaron Ennis has confirmed, or at least Eddie Hearn has confirmed, that Jaron Ennis will be ringside for the fight. Let's talk about that in this video.
Thought you wasn't gonna watch it.
How you feel about Jaron Ennis?
He all right. He's all right, kid. Him and Bozy,
Yeah.
they all right people. You know, can he fight? Yeah, he can fight. Is he gonna be at the pinnacle at one day? I'm sure he will.
Is he ready for Terence right now?
No, he's not ready for Terence.
You don't think so?
No, hell
Tell
no.
me, give me one good reason why.
He make too many mistakes, man. He get hit with too many stuff with stuff he shouldn't get hit with. You know what I'm saying? I understand he taking chances, but you got to be smart in there, young fella.
All right, so you see, Terence Bud Crawford walks up to Jaron Ennis, or walks past Jaron Ennis, and says, I didn't think you were going to be here. Terence Crawford, according to Terence Crawford fans, spooked Jaron Ennis, who immediately crosses his arms, says something to him as he walks by. But signifying the first time, at least that I've seen, the two of them talking to each other ahead of a fight that most people are eventually going to want to see. You heard what Brian McIntyre had to say, though, about Jaron Ennis, and I'm not buying it. But before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for your continued support. Absolutely makes a huge difference to the channel. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. But let's get into this. First and foremost, in this fight coming up with Terence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov, it's a fantastic card. There are talks out there about how the fight and the ticket sales are not doing particularly well, or they didn't do particularly well, because even though it seems like they got rid of most of the tickets, they had to cut the prices in half. In some cases, they cut the prices into a third to get all of those tickets sold for the fight with Madrimov and Terence Crawford. And it is a shame, because there's so many other fights on that fight card that you just have to say, man, I can't wait to watch it. You have first of all, Terence Crawford, who's the best fighter in the world. I don't think that there's a solid case, a very, very solid case for anybody above him. I don't put heavyweights on that list. Somebody may say Usyk. Usyk is a great fighter. He's a heavyweight and the king of boxing. But for everybody that's not a heavyweight, which is what pound for pound was traditionally used for, to me, it's Terence Crawford, without a doubt. Every area of boxing that you can mention, this man has got in spades. However, that doesn't mean that he is undefeatable. That doesn't mean that he is invincible. It doesn't mean that somebody else can't jump up there, take advantage, use the tools that they have, take advantage of it, and win that fight. I just don't think it is going to be Israel Madrimov tonight. There are some people that are saying, hey, man, maybe this could be like a Gennady Golovkin versus Kell Brook type of situation, where you have Kell Brook move up from 147 pounds, skip 2 weight classes, fight Gennady Golovkin, boxing him fairly well, and then the big guy just winds up landing big shots on him, breaking him down and hurting him. Some people think that may be this. I don't think that is this. Number one, I don't think Kell Brook is any type of Terence Crawford in that ring, and I do not believe that Israel Madrimov, from what I see, is toting the same weaponry that Gennady Golovkin is. But however, the base comparison exists. So, hey, man, we'll see tonight. But the rest of the card, like the fact that you have Jared Anderson versus Martin McCauley. You have, obviously, Isaac Cruz versus Rayo Valenzuela. You got Andy Ruiz versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller. You just have a very, very, very stacked card that, you should want to see, and I can't wait to see. But, mass appeal, obviously, that's not there like you would get with a Gervonta Davis or you would get with a Canelo Alvarez. But I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, because it may put Terence Crawford in a position where he actually has to fight Jaron Ennis. There was some information put out there. People made an observation. I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate or not, but the general consensus is, hey, man, didn't Jaron do 14,000 tickets or so in Philadelphia on a non-pay-per-view card? That seemed to be a very, very successful event. It looks like the ticket sales for Terence Crawford ain't going to be much different than what Jaron Ennis's are. So, are these guys really that much different or that much far apart in their name recognition? I think they are far apart in their name recognition. But if Terence Crawford cannot really, really sell and do really big numbers with guys that are not big names, and those big names don't want to get in the ring with them, like Canelo Alvarez, you may very well wind up seeing Jaron Ennis go up to 154 pounds and challenge him. He's going to be in the fight today. He's going to be ringside for the fight today. And when they start doing that and why promoters start doing that, they start doing that when they're trying to line these guys up to fight. My take on that brief interaction between Jaron and Terence Crawford is, I think, is, for me, you can see the age difference between the two of them. You can see the experience difference between the two of them. You had Jaron Ennis that was there that kind of looked, I wouldn't say that he looked scared of Terence Crawford, but he looked like he was the giddy little kid. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, yeah, okay, you see me, Terence sees me, I see him, yeah, back and forth. But there was that little bit of, yeah, man, this dude is been around a long time. This guy is really the man, on top of boxing as far as from a skill point of view right now. And you could kind of see that in him. And it would be interesting to see if Jaron is going to carry that kind of respectful, the younger man kind of aura that he gave off, if that's going to translate when those guys actually fight. And whether or not what Bomac had to say about him will come to fruition, that he makes too many mistakes. Personally, what I've seen with Jaron Ennis is a guy that's just got so many weapons that he just goes in there and does whatever he feels like he wants to do, because he feels like he can handle anything coming from the guy that, that is in front of him. And he said, hey, Bomac said, yeah, Jaron gets hit with too much. If he gets hit with something like that from Terence, you're not going to recover from that. Well, that goes both ways. Jaron didn't get hit that much more than Terence Crawford did against David Avanesyan. Not really. And actually stopped him a little bit earlier than Terence Crawford did. So Terence Crawford can't get hit with the same things he got hit with David Avanesyan. May not be able to get hit with the same things that he got hit with Errol Spence against Jaron Ennis. If Jaron Ennis comes with a big whopping overhand right landing dead on your temple, like it did with Terence Crawford and Terence Crawford and Errol, hey, who knows what happens to Terence there. But all in all, man, exciting situation. Glad to see these two guys talk. Jaron Ennis, I think, is the best young fighter in all of boxing. And then you got the best established fighter in boxing. Man, I really hope we get a chance to see that. I do talk about the pay-per-view numbers and all of that stuff and what Terence Crawford says outside the ring. And I'm not the biggest fan of it. But at the same time, man, in the ring and what he's doing, dog, you gotta, outside of the heavyweight division and Alexander Usyk, you gotta call this dude the king in the ring. And you gotta call him the king in the ring, number one top guy in the ring in boxing. But Jaron, I just want to see that fight get made. I'm happy that both these guys are fighting closely, in an with organizations that have worked together before, so there's not a big holdup. But first, Terence Crawford got to get past Ismail Madrimov, which I think he will. But hey, who knows? Maybe the people saying that he's the Gennady Golovkin with a little bit more athleticism and versatility to him, maybe they're right, and maybe we get a shocker tonight, and maybe then we see what happens after that. But that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.